What's up, Sojourners? My name is Sophia, and I'm your host of the Eternal Impact Podcast, where we hope to plant seeds that would be fruitful to your walk with Jesus. Today, we got Ray in the house.
Hey, how's it going?
And he is going to be sharing a piece of his testimony, and we're going to be talking about identity today. So, Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Praise the Lord. My name is Ray Ronson, born and raised in Seattle, Washington. Here to spread the word.
So give us a little glimpse of your past.
So basically, I was raised in a broken home, mom and dad was separated. We didn't have no, structure, nobody to, give us the outdate or the foundation of what's going on. So it was kind of just, I was questioning a lot of things about my life, that I didn't understand. Yeah. So, so of course that you get outside influences that influence you and just impact you with things that, that's not godly. So, you, of course you're going to spiral down a path that is, that's dangerous,
Did you go to church when you were
a little bit as well, but we went to a church that my uncle used to be the pastor at, so his name was Father House, so. But I didn't understand anything he said. He was speaking Samoan, so it was like, it was kind of a disconnect for me to even get to know the Lord, and nobody spoke about it in my home, or or it was never discussed. So so that's the one thing that was part of I didn't know the Lord, so might as well. This is just part of something to do.
So exactly.
That's one of the things.
Go.
Yeah. So.
How old were you when your parents divorced?
I was 2 years old. 2 years old. Yeah. So it was a while back. So I didn't really have anything to think about it or things like that. So
Did that ever affect you in elementary school and middle school?
It affected me a lot because nobody was there. Nobody was present at the time. It's mom was there, but she was working most of the time. Dad was he went to prison for 2 years. He was selling drugs and stuff like that. So it was just I was just going through the motions in life. I didn't really. My mom didn't have a place of her own. We was living with family most of the time, so it was just I don't know. It was depressing. I ain't gonna lie. I you didn't know those feelings at one point in life,
Right.
But as you just go through the life, it just I don't know. I didn't know what to think of it. So
Right.
Yeah.
So what were some things that you did to cope with or to feel better, or did you gravitate to anything? Is that why, gang life?
Yes.
Was that part of the reason?
Yes. So basically, that's when I started kind of converting to music, and then I was looking out for outside influence in order to work my life. I became heavy with Tupac. He was really big influence in my life. I started getting into poetry.
How old were you?
I was about 8 years old. I was 8 years old. 8 years old.
Oh my goodness.
8 years old was one of the most times and going back and forth with my mom and my dad. I started hanging out with my dad, and then he was not in the. He was more into the world, so we was going to actual parties with him and stuff like that.
How old were you?
Like I said, 8 years old.
Oh my goodness!
8 years, around 8 years, 8 years old was the time. And I finally that was my first time actually rapping in front of a group of people. And
that's so cute.
So it was something
that
crazy.
Was a start.
Yeah, that was a start, and everybody was giving me love, praise. That's why I kind of I think I found my calling when I was a kid and stuff like that. So that was one of the things I was I was really into, So that was it was.
So that's something that's been steady in your life.
So it's my second language. It's if we talk about music, anything, I can go all day.
My goodness, I love that.
Yeah, well. That's one of the places that I found a spot where I can hide and I can dwell in, and I can just be able to project to people or talk to people. You know what I mean? Through music and stuff like that. That's the only form of communication I knew. So
right.
Yeah.
So when you are writing, is it based on your life, or is it based off of kind of picking apart from other artists?
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, I was talking about my life, and then, I would start trying to rap with somebody else's lifestyle as well. I try to like I said, I was heavy with Tupac, so, I was rapping about guns, sex, drugs, and violence and all that stuff like that. Something I really didn't know at the time, but it's something that I kind of drew to because of the culture I was around at the time. So
absolutely.
It was one of the big things in my life, but most likely I was more drifted to like talking about myself, like my life, my struggles. What am I going through? Like, why am I just this person that's like not getting anything? You know what I'm saying? So that's what like kind of the things I was like more into and stuff like that. So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. When did you get saved?
When I got saved, let's say there was 2 times I got saved. Matter of
Okay.
fact.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 times I got saved. Well, one was like.
I mean, we get saved every day.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
the true times, like
Yeah.
I like.
Let's talk about the first time.
The first time I was going through some stuff. I was going through some stuff. It was a relationship issue, so it was kind of got me kind of a little more depressed and things like that. And I just decided, like, I can't do nothing about it. It's out of my control. I'm gonna just give it to God. I was going through a lot of like going to jail, so going to jail, in and out of jail. I can't be there for my kids. I have a broken relationship from a girl that I have like multiple kids with. You know what I'm saying? Like, mostly I put all my eggs in one basket. Type of wise. And then like I try to become that person that evolve into becoming a father and becoming a man of the household and be able to provide for my kids and provide for the woman I'm with at the same time and try to form like a godly relationship. But other than that, then
how long ago was that?
That was, man, like 2016, 2000, like that's the first time I actually like I was going to Christian Faith Center. I was hearing the words. I was like, oh, the worship team was like, it was beautiful. Like they sung that one song, Ocean Song, and it was and I was so convicted at the time. I was like, I was like crying. I was like, man,
how'd you show up there?
I showed up there. Just this person that's like not just nonchalant. Like I'm not trying to hear anything really like that, or I'm just trying to be part of. I'm just trying to just come here because my pops was over there actually.
Okay.
He was the one that was going to that church, and he invited us. So it wasn't. I didn't walk in there on my own. I didn't walk in there on my own. It just took that seed in order to grow in me, in order to become this person that I am. But and then after that I got baptized, and then I was good for a couple of years, and then I kind of backslid and just did my own thing, And that's how things is, especially if you ain't trying to build from that. Like if you ain't getting into the word, you're not growing a relationship. You're just like, oh yeah, I'm here. Okay, show it. Just a Sunday thing, That was me in the beginning.
That's a baby phase.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, that was me. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just whatever,
So then your second time around. Wait. Before we get there, can you identify how you backslid? Like, was there a trigger that was like, okay, Lord, I'm sorry, but I mean, you probably didn't even say it. You probably wasn't even talking to God at that point.
No, I wasn't. Yeah.
But was there what happened to make you fall away? Because I think that's common for a lot of Christians, and a lot can't identify what the trigger was. So I mean, it could just be like they lacked the meat and potatoes because they were still in their baby faith.
Yeah.
So they weren't equipped to go through the trial with the full armor of God. So a lot of people can fall away or backslide in that way, or just by a circumstance that just tore them down, and then they took a break from Jesus.
Yeah. Well, one of the things is I never changed anything about me on the outside.
Okay.
I didn't change my music.
Talk about it.
I didn't change my music. I didn't change my surroundings.
Yeah. Like the music that you made or the music you listened to?
The music I listened to and the music I made at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like I was just drifting, and I was like, oh yeah, a couple Bible verses here and there will be good enough. Or, I'm saying, Sundays, showing up to Sunday here and there will be good enough. And then, because I thought, like, as soon as I come into faith, oh yeah, everything's going to be good.
Yeah.
I thought everything, oh yeah, I'm good now. I'm saved with the Lord. He's going to do everything for me now. So basically I can just do what I got to do. I had the faith of the people that just comes into church and like, oh, I want to say, let me just say this quick little prayer. And that's it. That's the first time I was in there. Like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, it is what it is. And then started drinking again, smoking again, being part of this cult that, it's just full of, devilism. So I just didn't change anything. I felt like nothing was changing. So that's why I was just like, you know what, I might as well just go back to the world,
Wow.
So it was like, yeah. And my faith wasn't strong for nothing at that point. I was just like, yeah, it was a baby Christian. So basically, you know what they say, with Herod, right? He was talking about he was trying to kill all the babies and stuff
Yeah.
like that from
Yeah.
them fully growing up and developing. That's when he killed me in my baby stage. So I wasn't able to fully grow, and then never was in the word. It was just not no foundation, And
Right.
so it was just like
Right. So was there any opportunity for discipleship?
discipleship. No, not at the moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't reaching out to nobody or doing anything.
Yeah.
At the point of the time. Yeah.
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 Were there opportunities did you see did anyone try to come alongside you, like your dad, did he try to come alongside you,
Yeah.
or
But I felt like I wanted the relationship with the pastor for some reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want him to talk to me. I don't want my dad to talk to me about anything.
right, yes.
Because, that's what I felt like.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's normal
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Like when you're a baby
Yeah,
Christian,
yeah.
because the pastor becomes like your spiritual father.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So it's kind of like, hey,
Yeah.
help me out
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, and when you don't know like church life, it's easy to just not
Yeah.
get involved in different areas. So,
Yeah.
okay, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Okay, so you backslid, and then when did you feel like you found your turning point? Like, did you hit rock bottom?
Well, it took a few years.
What was it though? What was it?
Um,
Was it those few years piled up, or was it there was a certain thing that was like, oh, right, get it together?
Yeah. Well, yeah, at the point of time, like, everything was like, world is just the same thing as usual, same thing in, same thing out. And then years pass by, everything accumulates, you know what I'm saying? And then you get so deep into the world that you fall back to the point where you end up in jail again. You have relationship issues again after you try to fix it again, and all of a sudden everything breaks down again. It's just like, God allowed those years to me go back in the wilderness to see if this is what I really actually want compared to what He has for me on the other end.
Yeah.
And the second time I came back in, I was just so convicted. I was done. I was like, you know what? I think this is it right here, man. Because, I can't go back to this lifestyle no more. I was in jail at one point in time. I was just like sitting in a cell, man. It was a four bunkies, man, full of people that's like probably from the streets, that's on the streets, because I think there was drug addicts, maybe, whatever the case may be. And me going to jail, it's not something I want to do.
Like, I don't belong here.
Exactly. Like, especially alcohol was one of the things that kind of drew me off course. And every time I drank alcohol, there was never no good outcome. I just became just this person that's not me. I ended up in jail. I wake up in jail and I'm like, what the heck did I do?
Oh, no.
Excuse
What
me.
did you do?
No, but yeah, it's just like it was a turning point. And it just like it was a misdemeanor, something that I done off like I was doing drugs at the same time. And then I was in the cell. I was talking to God. I was like, God, man, just let me out of this one, Lord. Because I made a lot of contracts with God, going to jail. I've been from juvenile all the way to, what I'm saying, adult jail. So, when I first went to adult jail, it was like not the thing for me. I was like, man, this is not me right here, bro. I seen too many movies. But other than that, well, going back to that, I was like, God, show it for me, man, because I think this is it right here, man. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, you shouldn't always depend on signs in ordinary for you to, know that God's there, because He's always there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He never forsakes you. So, I'm saying, I grew out of that stage of my life, but I think that was a stamp to say, all right, man, you want to see something? Here you go. You know what I mean? Jeremiah 33 verse 3 says, answer, pray to me and I'll answer, So I'm just like, I'm just more like in tune with God now. It's just like, I fixed a lot of things up,
Committed.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what does that look like? You fix a lot of things up.
Yeah.
What does your daily walk with God look like now for you to be fighting the good fight?
Fighting a good fight is be in prayer all day, reading the Word. You know what I mean? Start showing up to church. You know what I mean? doing ushering. I'm just trying to stay dedicated as much as I
Yeah.
can, or doing outreach, trying to, or just going on social media. Anything on social media that I do, I just make sure it's God related. I don't
Yeah.
just try to focus on me and focus on, because everybody's going through problems and you don't know who
Yeah.
you can reach at the moment, because
Exactly.
everybody's just drifted as well. Everybody's trying to find a greater purpose.
Right.
So I think the greatest purpose is in Jesus, and
That's
to
right.
know who He is.
Yes.
So I just want to be that light every single time. Like,
Yes.
don't waste no time. You know what I mean? Like, you
Exactly.
don't know when they say you don't ever know when that time. So
Exactly.
I'm gonna just keep spreading the gospel, regardless.
Yeah.
Any situation.
That's
You know
so
what I mean?
good.
So
That's so good.
yeah.
So would you say that you believed the lie that there was something better that the world had to offer? Like when you backslid, like, was that something that you're like, all right, there's something out here for me, and then you realize there's not?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So basically, yeah, it came to that point in my life where I feel like, oh yeah, and wait a minute, this music is going to do for me. I'm going to become a big secular rapper, big rapper. You know what I mean? That kind of messed my walk up as well too a little bit, because I kind of find like maybe I have an outlet in doing this, or just like, or this woman, that woman. It's like it's a whole bunch of things like that kind of just made me like, oh wait a minute, I gotta hold off a little bit, because you don't know if maybe I can do better off in the world than I can in Christianity.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was living a life that wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? I was living this person that is like, I had a mask on, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to hide from his true identity.
Oh my
And so that's what I'm saying. I
goodness.
think that's why our identity in Christ is so much better, because I finally get to be comfortable with myself.
Yeah.
I can do things on his time,
Yes,
not my
yes,
time,
yes,
but on
yes.
his time, and then and
Right.
be able to yield. I just learned how to more like yield more. You know what I mean?
yes.
Like, stop trying to just do it on your own, because
Yes.
guess what? We was over here serving our own will, and now He's giving us his will. So
Exactly.
that's why I'm kind of like,
That is so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. Jeez, I'm just so floored. Like, your testimony is so beautiful, and this is just a snippet of it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it doesn't even go into, daily hardships, or, raising your kids, or fighting other temptations. Like this doesn't even go into any of that, but wow, like God's miracle in your life. I mean, it's a miracle. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when He can pull us out the mud like that, like, especially when you backslid, like, you didn't just backslide for like a couple weeks and bounce back. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like, it was years of you going back into that lifestyle, but then realizing that the world was empty, right?
Yeah.
Like, the world has nothing to offer. And I think that that's powerful to be able to tell other Christians.
Yeah.
Because I think we all still kind of wonder sometimes,
Yeah.
especially when we've been walking for so long. It's like, and we
Yeah.
go through something rough. It's like, well, can I go back to my old ways?
Yeah.
And so, would you say that it's like, you can truly say, because obviously you didn't truly believe that when you first got saved, right?
Yeah.
That you didn't fully believe that the world had nothing to offer. But now, would you say that you believe that the world has nothing to offer you?
Yeah, I could say that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's really
Praise
nothing out
God.
here. And I
Oh,
mean,
my goodness.
to be honest, I mean, like, I tried so many things of the devil's work that it never, you know what I'm saying, made me feel for any fulfillment, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I just rather just, you know what I mean, just go with God and see what He has planned for me. I mean, there's so many scriptures, I mean, of Him prospering you, you know what I mean, enabling you to be doing things that, you know what I mean, that the devil can't. So
Right.
I just rather just, you know what I mean, just see what God has for me and be able to
Exactly.
develop in that, because if you keep seeking Him and have Him right in righteousness, you know what I mean, righteously,
Yes.
He will, you know what I'm saying, He'll establish your steps, establish your plans, So
Exactly.
that's why I was like, I'm drinking a lot, I'm smoking a lot, doing all this and that, and it's not doing nothing for me. So
Yeah.
what's the point, And there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that's around me that's doing it,
Right.
and I don't see them ever happy. I don't see them seeking anything.
Right.
It's like it's a hopeless trail.
Hope,
So,
yeah.
you
It's
know what
a
I'm saying?
hopeless trail.
Yeah, it's a hopeless trail.
Exactly.
So you basically just fighting your own demons and just not
Right.
having no power behind it.
Yeah.
So.
So was it ever hard for you to give up the things that you love? or would you say that you loved alcohol? Because I loved alcohol back in the day. Like
Yeah.
I love, like I was definitely a full blown alcoholic
Oh
by
yeah.
like 17,
Oh yeah.
like big time. So
Okay.
would you say? I mean, that was one of my things. Was like, Lord, like I don't
Yeah.
want to come to you because I don't want
Yeah,
to
I
give
gotta
this
hold.
up.
Yeah.
Did
Exactly.
you have some things like that?
Yeah. So at one point, you know, what I mean, I was like, you know, the drinking is not doing for me any justice as well. Anyway, so you know, what I mean,
Right.
I'm a terrible drunk. Like I'm terrible. Like yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like get. Become another person, and I think it's like you know, and it's hurtful to people too as well. You know, what I
Right.
mean, I could say a lot of rude things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like not the friendly. You know, what I mean, after a while, like I have too many shots or too many
After a
drinks.
while, I don't think
Yeah,
anyone's
yeah,
friendly after a
yeah,
while.
yeah. No, yeah,
I think
exactly.
that is a
But
lie.
I think I become too much
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
end up in jail.
yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I don't miss that part, and I don't miss a part like having hangovers, not being able to do anything the next
Right.
day, and
And
you
we're
got
getting
and
older
yeah,
now,
exactly,
so
yeah,
those
so
don't know.
yeah, yeah, so it might as well just drop it.
Okay, so you're like, so you said that you with Christ, so before, like without him, you have to put on a mask, right?
Yeah,
Or you weren't living your full self, your
yeah,
true self or
yeah.
whatever. But now you are. That
Well, you
like
know, I'm more comfortable in myself. I'm more comfortable, like,
you're
yeah,
confident.
yeah, I'm more
Yeah,
confident in
because
what
you
I
know
do.
who you
Yeah,
belong to. You know
exactly,
who's in control. You
exactly,
know that your steps
yeah,
are ordered.
exactly.
So, okay.
So those are the one of the things too as well. You know, what I mean, I'm not hiding behind anything like, oh yeah, look, I'm this gangster rapper, this and that,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I'm this person that drinks, or you know, what I mean,
yeah.
or try to have validation and please other people.
Right.
Why? What's the point of all that? You know, what I'm saying when I could just be, you know, open and willing to share who saved me in the
Yeah.
process, and I'm saying like, oh yeah, you don't have to be faking it no more. You know what I mean? You can just
Yeah.
show who you are in Christ. You know what I mean? And be able to, you know, let off the burdens of everybody else as well as you share that,
Right.
as you share those testimonies and stuff like that,
Exactly.
or just share God freely. You know what I mean? If they'll
Yeah.
come, you know, like, well, I wonder what he got behind it. You know what I'm saying? The scene. It's like the
Yeah.
same thing with my friend. He was like, he said he changed up his whole ways. He said they saw me not coming to work, cussing and doing all this and that. They saw me. He said, and they said after a while they kind of it was curious, so they was
Yeah.
just trying to see what's going on too. And then all of a sudden they came to Christ as well. So it's about just
Amen.
sharing, changing your character, changing who
Yeah.
you are. You know, they
Yeah.
say a bad company corrupts some good morals. So you
Yes.
just want to just stay connected with the source at all times.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? But
Exactly.
don't ever mislead somebody. Other than
Yeah.
that, you got to just, you know what I mean, stay planted in the Lord. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And just, you know, and just let the Holy Spirit lead. I think that's what's
Exactly.
helping me out most of the time. And I know that's for sure that's helping me out, the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit. Because, you know, a lot of it is not on my own will. It's been done by His will. So
Exactly.
that's really captivates a lot of things, you know what I mean, around
Yeah.
people or people I'm around. Because it's been real, you know,
Yeah.
and then you know, not hiding behind the scene no more. Like I'm over here just to my brother, you know what I mean, my older brother. They're kind of just like he's kind of like trying to drift off into becoming a Christian as well. I seen him just look
Okay,
at a lot of
brother.
Christian things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, he's more like open to it. He's
Yeah.
not biased about it. He's more like, oh yeah, you know.
Do you feel like music can be an idol for you because you love it so much?
I think so.
Could be,
I
yeah.
think so. I think yeah, because when it comes to music, I'm just like I'm so anxious when it comes to that. Like, is anybody hearing my music? Is anybody like when you say put my music, it's not my music. It's to glorify the Lord. You know, and I just like that's why I'm kind of like I don't know, Lord, if this is going to kind of like draw me back and become a little sketchy about the situation, like because it kind of gets me a little bit too off track a little bit too as well. Like I know I'm doing it for His glory, but I get so emotional into it too. You know, like I want people to hear my stuff. I want to hear,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
things like that.
What kind of exhortation can you give us, or some advice or some counsel? And don't give us no Christianese, like put God first. Yes, we know that, but like, what does that mean? Like, how do you? We're talking about identity.
Yeah.
Okay, you're no longer who you were, and you're now who you're supposed to be. You feel confident, and that's one thing that it seems like the majority of people lack is confidence because they don't know who they are. So what kind of exhortation, what kind of like first steps would you tell the peoples?
What I'll first tell people is sometimes you gotta just deny yourself.
Okay.
You know, that's the best thing to
That's
do.
good.
You know, you gotta like I said, like yeah, put your God first, but at the end of the day, it's all about getting in your word too as well.
Yeah.
You know, and then actually, you know what I'm saying, change your surroundings. You know, change your surroundings, change the people you hang with, change the music you
Yeah.
listen to. You know, you gotta just, you know what I mean, convert everything, and you know what I'm saying, instead of just trying to like, oh yeah, maybe trying to downsize of anything that's in the world, you got to make sure that if it's not godly, then it's not going to build your faith. It's not going to, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, it's not going to make you become any better. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I just like, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, you got to be transformed. You know what I'm saying? Don't conform
Yeah.
to the ways of this
Yeah.
world, because it's going to just lead you back. You know, and
Yes.
just keep yourself, keep the faith, keep, you know what I'm saying, keep seeking the Lord. You know, at all times. You know what I'm saying? At every time, it be in prayer. You know, things like that of those
Yeah.
natures, you know. So,
That's so good.
you know, but other than that, that's how I stay vigilant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you just change, you just be you know what I'm saying, be productive for the Lord. You know, no
Yeah.
matter what it is. You know,
Yes. Be
try to be
productive
a, you
for the
know,
Lord. That's good.
exactly.
That's real good. All right. Well, we'll be hearing more from you. Are you gonna come back?
Yeah, sure. And so yeah, when we get some more topics going on, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it popping for the Lord.
All right. Well, thank you for coming and
Yeah.
thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
God bless.